Hey, I'm Ras, and you're listening to the Bola Bola Show podcast.
So welcome back again, guys, and now we'll bring to you the second part of the Inter Milan podcast, where we'll go through with our guests on their most memorable matches, especially when it comes to the Milan derby, and also the Inter and Juve rivalry, as well as our guests will share with us their best 11 of Inter Milan, and also what is the future for Inter Milan, looking forward to grow with the Suning Group. So we hope you enjoy this second part of the podcast.
Okay, now we are back in the next segment. So, both to Ras and Andre, I'm going to ask you this question. As Inter Milan, I mean, of course, every season there is two important fixtures. One, Derby della Madonnina, the derby against AC Milan. And, of course, the biggest one, Derby d'Italia against Juventus. Okay. But you just have to listen, okay? You just have to listen. Okay, guys. I mean, I'll ask both of you. Maybe, okay, Andre, you can go first. I mean, what's your most memorable moment against Milan and Juventus?
That is a tough one. I mean, every time we beat Juventus, Inter Milan versus Juventus, right? Because I know you said Milan.
Okay.
No, I was just making sure I heard correctly. So,
Okay.
I think
he means the derby and the Derby d'Italia. So the Milan derby and the matches against Juventus.
Yeah, basically.
okay. So, which is so I mean, it's really difficult, but I think in more recent years, the games against Juventus have a little more appeal since AC Milan has lost a lot of, they fell from grace.
Yeah.
But I remember when Julio Cruz, and this is a little while back, and I can't remember the exact. Ras might be able to help me out here. When Mancini was the coach, there was a game where Julio Cruz scored two amazing goals. It's not the most memorable match, and a lot of people won't speak about it.
I think it's the one that he came off the bench, right? Ibra
I think so, yeah.
probably assisted him in those goals.
Yeah, I remember that game, and because I know it sounds like a harsh statement, but I really love Juventus. I know this is to me in recent years it surpasses the Inter Milan AC Milan rivalry simply because AC Milan fell from grace. But that game was one that really stood out to me because I felt even when during the Calcio period when we had the superior team, for whatever reason, Juventus would always get a draw with us, a 1-1. It drove me crazy because I was like, this is our time to really,
Stem out.
get some bragging rights on these guys. And then, as I said, it's a difficult question, and probably if I sit down and think about it more, I could probably come up with another answer. But I think that game, Julio Cruz, was a memorable one for me. I think, and also, actually, when in Milan, I think this is when I could be wrong. When 2014, maybe I'm not mistaken. Palacio and Milito and those guys were on the team. Memorable game. And Juventus had a very long win streak.
Yep.
And Inter Milan was struggling, but they had enough to knock Juventus off their perch. And it wasn't the most glamorous game, but that was definitely memorable for me.
Okay. So what about you, Ras?
Okay. I mean, anytime we beat Milan and Juventus is memorable. So,
Okay.
like what Andre is saying is true that the rivalry with Milan, because Milan has fallen down the pecking order, not as strong as they used to be. So the games nowadays, we are bossing the Milan derby in recent years, but I mean, in the past, there have been so many memorable games, even memorable for the wrong reasons, like we got hammered 6-0 by Milan.
Oh
We
my
lost
God, yes.
to
Oh,
we lost in 2 Champions League ties, one semi-final and one, I think, quarter-final to Milan, and both on away goals.
They hurt me a lot, I think.
Yeah, they didn't even beat us, like, outright, so just on away goals. So, those days, I think Milan was a good team, and I think for Italian football, we need Milan back as one of the strongest teams again. But I think I would go for the most recent derby that we had against Milan, where we were losing 2-0 and we came back to win 4-2.
Oh yeah.
okay.
That was sweet.
Mhm.
And for the games against Juventus, I think we've not won many in recent history, and that irks me. So I would go with the one that Andre was speaking about. That was 3rd November 2012, when we were the first ever team to beat Juventus at this new Juventus Stadium. Yeah. Now known as Alliance Stadium. Yeah. We came back from 0-1 to win 3-1. So that was sweet because we weren't at our best, and still we beat Juventus. Stramaccioni was the manager at that time. And one other one, I think, where we beat Juventus at the old Dalio della Alpi, would be winning the Supercoppa Italia on August 2005. Veron scoring the winner in that game in extra time. So that was also sweet because you win something in your enemy's territory. You can't be better than that.
Yes.
Okay.
So many memories.
So many memories. Yep. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I can't really recall much of them. But if I need to add on, the most memorable Milan derby, it's probably the one where I think it was Inter fans. They managed to smuggle a scooter in, and they threw the scooter from one terrace to the other. I mean, that's very memorable. Okay, all right.
Yes.
I mean, Bala, I'm not going to ask you about the so, I mean, we will have a Juventus episode, so that will be your chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it to you, Elvin. What is do you have any memorable game?
Yeah, for me, there was a very memorable moment. It was in 2012 when Inter beat AC Milan 4-2. Of course, Diego Milito scored a hat-trick, and 2 of those were penalties. But the most amazing thing was in that game was that Maicon goal. My God, that goal that he scored from way out of the box. It was really a screamer, that 4th goal. So for me, that one was just great. And of course, when Milan had a penalty, you must look at what Julio Cesar did to Ibrahimovic. He actually went straight up to his face, and it was kind of like provoking the guy. But of course, Ibrahimovic did score the penalty anyway. So
they were teammates once upon a time.
Yeah. So that was for me a memorable Inter and AC match. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Lots of memorable derby game from between Inter and Milan, and of course against Juventus. And yep, I agree with Russ. I mean, it's good it'll be nice to see AC Milan making a strong comeback in Serie A. It brings back a lot of great memories. But we'll move on to the next segment right now. And of course, we're going to stop all the serious stuff and, try to have a little bit of fun now from now onwards.
Milito entre dans l'histoire autour de Maicon. Maicon! Oh là là! Exceptionnel encore! Incroyable! Douglas Maicon! Quel but! Qui sort de son répertoire! Une frappe!
Okay, hi, and welcome back again, guys. So as what Steven was mentioning, let's have some fun now. Okay, so Inter, to me, they had many great goalkeepers. Okay, and just to name a few, I would just put like these 3 guys as the top 3. You may dispute that or what, but Walter Zenga, Pagliuca, and Toldo. So among these 3 guys, right, who is your favorite among these 3 guys? I have a certain memory about these guys, but maybe I'll let Russ and Andre, let us have your opinion on these three goalkeepers. Yeah.
Okay. I was too young to remember Walter Zenga, so unfortunately got to put him out. But I remember it was good. Was a great goalkeeper, and remember him goalkeeping with his gold chain on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would remember Pagliuca and Toldo more. So that is very close between these two. I think Pagliuca was a big character. Every time he made a save, he would come out shouting at the defenders. But I mean, I can't blame him. The defense in front of him was quite bad. Besides Bergomi, and it was just open fire for the opponent. So he really had to pull out the stops. And Toldo was like a Superman. We saw him at Euro 2000 with Italy, where he was a Superman there. And I think when he was at Inter as well, he was really a big Superman character to have in goal, was pulling out all the stops to make all these big saves. He even in one of the matches against Juventus, he came forward for a corner deep into injury time, and it caused a mayhem in the box, and somehow Vieri bundled in the equalizing goal.
I remember that.
Exactly. Actually, that was in fact the memorable moment for Toldo. I mean, they I think till today they still consider that a Toldo goal. What do you guys think?
I think Toldo considers it his goal. Vieri is going to take it all day, every day.
Yeah.
Vieri won't let him have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I met Toldo as well when he came over to Singapore for the ICC promotions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a very nice guy. But I think maybe his knowledge of the English language isn't so good, so we couldn't have much of a conversation. But was a very nice guy. Nice to meet him.
Okay. What about Andre?
I like Ras. With Zenga, I mostly saw. He was a little before my time, but and just like Herrera, when we spoke about him before, he's good. He's a legend. But I got to experience Pagliuca and Toldo a lot more. And I know a lot of people speak about Julio Cesar because he was the keeper when they wanted trouble. But Toldo has a special place in my heart. In addition to his Inter Milan performances, but for the national team as well. Even when he was, Buffon was injured and for the Euros and so on, he looked unstoppable. He was such a big presence.
Yeah.
I always remember there was a game when it was still the UEFA Cup between Inter Milan and Valencia.
Oh yes,
Valencia is a team I have a soft spot for. I like them. They're a nice team. They have a lot of players I like when Aymar and those guys were there. And Valencia at the time were in debt, and it really looked like Valencia were going to knock them out. But Toldo was just
one-man show
in that game.
I remember.
Okay.
And then even when the Calciopoli was, when Mancini was there, and that's an era that a lot of people don't talk about much because the trouble kind of surpasses everything. But Toldo, before Cesar came in, he was a majestic, huge keeper, and he would make magnificent saves. I remember there was another game where Di Baggio was not where he was supposed to be in the wall, and he ran out towards him and grabbed him by the collar, and you could tell how intense he was, how much he cared about Inter Milan. This guy wanted to win, and I love to see that in players where he shook up or was essentially a senior player and said, get it together, guy. Stay in the wall. And, those were his other attributes. But he was such an amazing presence for a big guy. He was very agile. He was very commanding. And I was kind of glad that he was around when they eventually did win all the treble. Still, he was still around. So although he would be my guy. Although I know, people would argue Zenga and even Pagliuca, but Toldo is my guy. Toldo is the guy I felt would be the best guy.
Okay, right. So what about you guys, Bala?
I'm going with Toldo. I think Ras and also Andre has told, I think basically 90% of it. I think the memorable of him is basically he's a very calm figure. And I think Toldo with him, I think I'm confident that at least he'll do the best to support the defense in terms of his goalkeeping error. So for me, I think anytime I'll go for Toldo. But Pagliuca is a more on, typical mafia kind of guy, like you're watching the movie Godfather, he shouts, he make a direction, he move, he attack, he shouts again. He doesn't have the compose thing. So Toldo, I think it would be my team at any time. Steven, you?
Well, for me, I will agree with all of you guys because pretty much I grew up in the Toldo era. I saw Toldo era for the most part. Pagliuca was mainly, I think, just mainly during what happened in USA 94. And of course, Zenga in Italia 90. And so, yeah, I would say I would rank Toldo first, maybe Pagliuca second, Zenga third. But, one thing's for sure, these guys are equally great goalkeepers in their own rights.
Yep.
Okay.
Now we're talking about the dream team of Inter Milan.
Oh.
With all the greatest, I think Inter Milan have a lot of great players. Ronaldo, Ivan Zamorano, Recoba. I think the list can go on from attack, from goalkeeper, defense, midfield, Cordoba, just a name for any nation. I think even Paulins have played for them as well.
Paulins, yeah.
What do you think, Russ? Will be your dream team ever for Inter Milan? Goalkeeper.
As you mentioned, there's so many names, so many great players. Very difficult to just name 11.
Yep.
I could probably name 2 11s.
Yep.
With the names available. So I'll go with a 4-2-3-1 formation. That's the formation we won the treble with.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with Pagliuca in goal.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
A goalkeeper that looks like a model. And it's just that his character is we need a character in there, so I'm gonna put Pagliuca in there. His big character. And I guess he wouldn't have to shout too much with the defense I'm gonna name next. So we'll have Maicon at right back, Bergomi in center defense.
Okay.
Alongside Walter Samuel and Zanetti at left back, because we never really had a good left back. Christian Chivu did okay.
So you would rather put Zanetti on the left?
Yeah, he can play anywhere. You can put him in midfield. He can do a job for you.
So you rather put Maicon on the right and Zanetti on the left. Yeah. But what about guys like Maxwell? Maybe just for a while, right?
Yes, Maxwell could have made it into the team, but I mean, how to leave out Zanetti and Maicon? Tough.
Yeah.
So probably might have Maxwell on the bench.
Okay.
Yeah, good option to bring on. Christian Chivu is also a good option to bring on because he can play left back, can play centre back, versatile. But he's less of an attacking fullback.
Right.
And so moving on to centre mid, I think I'm going to go with Cambiaso and Thiago Motta. Two players.
Wow.
Okay.
Two players that can play with the ball on the feet, can build the attacks from the back, and not just kick people around. Both players very intelligent, can read the game well. So I think I'll go with both of them. This will be 2 central midfielders. On the right wing, I'm going to go with someone called Francesco Moriero.
Oh, okay.
You know that guy that is famous for his shoe shine celebration with Ronaldo?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm going to go with at right wing. I think was a really good right winger when he was at his full flow in 97-98 season especially. So I think I'm going to go with him at on the right wing. The attacking midfielder playmaker would be Wesley Sneijder. No doubt on that. I think Wesley Sneijder would get my vote. And on the left, I'm going to go with Yuri Djokaev.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
But I'm going to drop Eto'o. I'm going to go for Djokaev. Otherwise, I have to reflect back to my time as a fan and have some of these guys in as well. And centre forward, there's no doubt on it, is the one and only Ronaldo.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So interesting. You played Jokaev on the left. I mean, did you consider Perisic?
Perisic, no, actually, I didn't consider Perisic at all.
Oh, okay,
But, I mean,
okay.
he's a good player, yes, I agree. But I think
Yeah.
Jokaev had just a bit more,
Okay.
something more about his game.
All right.
Okay.
All right, interesting lineup. How about you, Andrew? Can you match Ras for first 11 for Inter Milan?
It's like he said, it's so difficult because when I was first thinking about it, every decision I made was a difficult one. Every time I choose a player and I left out one, I felt like I was doing an injustice. I guess this is how coaches feel when they have a really good team.
Yeah.
So obviously, in goal, as I my previous answer would be a dead giveaway. I'll go with Toldo in goal.
Right.
I always liked him. I think, for the reasons I spoke about before. I'm going with the same formation because we wanted trouble, just like Ras.
Okay.
The four.
Same, I think alike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Inter Milan fans, right?
Yeah.
I actually my back four is exactly the same as his, and for the same reasons. I had the same problem because there's no way I was leaving Zanetti out, but Maicon was really, really good. So because, as all Inter Milan fans know, Zanetti could play anyway, and he was probably one of our best left backs, and we had a lot. And he was known as a right back, but he was really good there. So Zanetti goes at the right back position. Walter Samuel. I was actually having difficulty with putting Facchetti in the squad, but because I didn't see him live, I'm going to go with the guys I saw. So Zanetti at left back, Walter Samuel centre back, Bergomi, and Maicon at right back. So it was the same back four.
Interesting.
Ironic.
Yeah. I kind of smiled when you said your back four. And in the defensive midfield area, Cambiaso for sure. I mean, that goes without saying. To me, he was a game changer for Inter Milan when he came in. And then I had the problem, without sounding like a biased Argentinian fan. I had Veron, but then Thiago Motta as well, because he was so important because of his ability to control the middle and have those quick passes that oftentimes get overlooked by people. And I was torn, and I stayed in the mirror for about an hour thinking about it. Who do I drop? So I gave Motta the edge, although I love Veron. Because he was very important. I think he was a master stroke signing by Mourinho.
Mancini.
I think he was very important. But Veron would be on the bench as well. So in the attacking midfield, Snyder goes, without a question, it's Snyder for me. His ability to I think he was the missing piece that Mancini was looking for, and he couldn't find. He tried it with Jimenez and those guys, didn't work. And he tried even Julio Cruz at one point. But so Snyder. On the right, I know this might be a bit controversial because he wasn't there for really long, but I like Luis Figo on the right.
Okay.
I really liked him at Real Madrid. I always liked him, as we know the story about him at Barcelona and Real Madrid, but I was really happy when he came there because even when he was older and he was a bit slower, he was very classy.
Luis Figo, right?
I thought when you say controversial, you're going to go for Quaresma.
I was going to say Quaresma, but he was just terrible for it. I really wanted him to do well, but he just never worked out with that. But so Luis Figo, and on the left, it was equally difficult because my choices are not would roll off the tongue, but there's some guys, Eto'o would be a logical choice, but I eventually went with Santiago Solari when he was there.
Oh,
okay. All right.
Yeah, when he was there, that period, he was there. He was there with Kelly Gonzalez, and I actually liked Kelly Gonzalez more as a fan, but Solari was definitely a high performer, and he scored a lot of goals, and, I wish he stayed a bit longer, but, it was wonderful to have him, and I think, if Solari came at Inter at a different time, he would have been a legend, but, he he scored a lot of goals. I think I remember scoring a back heel goal that was wonderful. He was different from Killy Gonzalez. You know, Killy was a lot of, to me, I called him the Diego Simeone of the left wing because he was very physical and he would fight you. But Solari had a little more flair, and so that's why I choose Solari.
Killy was very direct.
Yeah, Killy was a more aggressive type. And up front, I think everybody will agree, R9, even though I'm an Argentinian fan, Ronaldo was unquestionably, would be in my all-time 11. And it was difficult choosing this team, but Ronaldo was probably the easiest choice. So that's my 11.
Actually, we had Batista at Inter as well.
I think the most underrated player in both your teams are Thiago Motta, guys. Yeah.
And it's very similar, our teams.
Yeah, very similar.
Okay. I mean, just listening to your lineups brings back a lot of memories because I completely forgot about Thiago Motta for a while. I also completely forgot about that Killy Gonzalez was playing for Inter as well. But I think I think at the end of the day, if all of us were to agree on one thing, there's only one player that's going to be the number 9, and that's Ronaldo, right, guys?
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. All right.
I'll have Vieri on the bench.
All right.
And Roberto Baggio, for sure.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Alvin, go ahead.
Okay. So now let's look forward to the future of Inter Milan, right? So guys, now with the Suning Holdings Group, who have about 70% stake in Inter now and getting into their 4th year of this ownership. Of course, they made some big name signings like Lukaku and Christian Eriksen, and they are on a global plan to increase the Inter fan base, and I think really challenge for the title again since a decade ago. So what do you guys? What is your outlook for Inter's future now with this new holding company behind this team now? This question is for both you guys, so you can go.
Okay. I would say the outlook looks bright. With Suning coming in, is much better than Eric Thohir when he was in charge. And with Suning, I think there's more stability, and there's a plan, there's a philosophy in the people that they're hiring in all these management positions, the players they are signing, backing the manager with their signings. I think future looks bright, and hopefully we are not fooled into thinking that it's a false dawn. The one issue I probably have with Inter is that on the pitch there's this thing where for some reason whenever the year turns, the Inter's form start tumbling down. I really have no clue why this strange phenomenon is happening with so many different managers now. Even under Conte before this break due to COVID-19, we were heading down. We weren't playing well and we weren't getting the right results. So this is something we need to get to grips with, because if we want to win something, we need to stop being so erratic and inconsistent on the pitch. But off the pitch, I think the Suning group is doing well, and they've even got Inter out of the financial fair play thing, so we are no longer burdened by that. So that's a big boost for us. So I feel the future looks bright at the moment.
Okay. What about you, Andre?
Yeah, I agree. When Thohir was in charge, when I started to work with professional teams, I started to get a new appreciation for the backroom work that takes place. The marketing of a club and how it changed from what we knew in the 90s. It was very different. And, Marathi splashed the cash. And, a lot of things were hidden in terms of business plans and so on, because, Inter would just cover the cracks up with money. They would just throw money. And after he won the treble, you could see that there was no plan, no modern plan. And that's where, a lot of English Premiership teams where, a lot of people say they're the best league in the world. And I think they are the best at marketing and running their clubs. but I don't think they're the best. But that's another discussion. I think Tohir, even though he was not a popular, he won't be remembered by the fans. I think Inter Milan made a plan back in the 2014 era or whenever it was. Raj could correct me if I'm wrong, where they made a business plan where, okay, we are going to reconstruct how Inter Milan does things and rebrand. And it was going to take time, and he said so. He wasn't as charismatic as, Zhang, but, he said, okay, we're going to do this in XYZ 5 years, and I'm going to get Inter Milan out of the financial fair play. And, he was there at an ugly time where he had to make very difficult signings, and, he had to watch the budget and so on. And a good example of why I'm confident in Inter Milan, AC Milan went another route. They took a loan. Yeah. And they decided they were going to go the shortcut method, and we're going to go back to glory. We're going to buy it back. And we saw what happened. It backfired, and they are suffering. Inter Milan played the long game, and it paid off. And, with Soning in there, the money is flowing. You could see, if you go on Inter Milan's website, it's completely vibrant. Their social media campaign is completely modern. They're winning over new fans. They're reaching out to fans all over the planet, which is what you have to do as a modern club and generate revenue. And they're financially in a good place. They're making good signings. And it reminds me a little bit of when Mancini came into Inter Milan, where they were starting to make the right moves. Although it didn't pay off until 2010. You saw that, Facchetti and Mancini, they were making the right signings. But things were still not perfect. As Ras was saying, we were looking very unstable before the league was stopped. I was a bit worried because we were looking unstoppable, and then we started to look very shaky. Yes. We were looking like we could not get a win at all. Like we were going to concede every time someone attacked us, and there was something that was not right. And while the signs are there and the future is bright, Inter Milan definitely needs some time. But the ingredients are in place, and just like before, they just need to get things in place, get the right mix, I should say. I think the squad, as Conte said, is still incomplete. They still have to solve. That left back issue seems to be a problem for Inter Milan, the left side. The mentality of the team. Conte made a statement, that there's no leaders on the team. But, making signings like Eriksen and Lukaku is a statement from Inter Milan. They are letting the world know that we are back and we are making big signings. And, Italian, they are in a lot of ways like Juventus representing Italian football, that they could spend money now. So the future is bright. And I think Inter Milan, once they keep doing what they're doing, I'm confident in, Zanetti and those guys, the vice president and so on. I think they have a bright future ahead of them.
Okay, great.
Hey, great.
I think we need to win something. Actually, we can break that duck. Win anything, any trophy. Just win something. We can break that duck. I think it's like breaking the dam, and the water will just flow through after that.
Very much. I say the same thing with Argentina as well. I think if Argentina ever, I make parallels with Inter Milan and Argentina, where Inter Milan just needed that win. And you're correct. Mancini said that back in 2000. I speak about Mancini a lot because I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for kind of putting Inter on the right track. He made a statement when he was hired. The Coppa Italia was kind of scoffed at by the bigger clubs in Italy. It was like, oh, nobody cares. And he was like, no. We need to start winning and learning how Inter needs to learn how to win. And, it got to a point with the Calcio and thing that when they won the Coppa Italias, you started to see it was a different team. And then it became so luxurious. Winning the leagues were like a joke for us. Oh, we only won the league. What a failure of a season. And I think that's like, how it felt,
In some seasons, we could give a team a chance that they could possibly pip us, but eventually we still win the league. That was how confident we probably were at that time. Even as fans, we were like, okay, no worries, we'll come back, we'll win.
Yeah, that was correct. So you're right. I think Inter Milan needs that trophy. Even a win against Juventus would be nice. But that I agree with you. I think that is from a playing perspective, they need to get that some trophies. So correct.
Well, there are still 12 matches left to play in the league if the league resumes, and you guys are 9 points behind Juve. So still in with a chance.
Yeah, with a game in hand
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I think our resident Juve fan wants to hold back first. He's going to wait for his episode before he goes out.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, with that, we will wrap up this episode. Obviously, it's been great talking to two Inter Milan fans out there. I mean, it's I'm not a fan of Inter Milan, but it's one of the few clubs that I have a soft spot for. Probably because in Andre's case, because of the Argentinian connection, but at the same time because I've always felt like they were in the shadow of AC Milan and Juventus, and they're like that underdog story, and then suddenly they rise above. That's how I felt about them. But anyway, any last words, guys, from both of you? Andre?
Well, first off, I just want to say, thank you guys for having me on your show. I really like what you guys are doing because I love the discussion. I pay attention. The football conversations are really welcome, and I like the variety in topics. So it's been a pleasure, and it's amazing. That with this technology, we're all over the planet, and we can do this.
Exactly.
We live in such an amazing time where I'm all the way in the Caribbean. Our time zones are completely off. Yet, find people who have a common interest in football. So it's really an honor for me to be here, and I hope you guys bring me on another time.
Sure, no problem. And for those of our listeners, where can they find you? Would you like to share them with us?
Yeah, sure, no problem. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at andre.sooklal. And you can also find me on my YouTube channel, Extra Time TV. Just like you guys, I have my recurring guests and we speak about topics. So you guys could find me, just search for Extra Time TV on the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Sivan is there every once in a while. He makes some cameos. So you can find me there.
Okay. And Ross, what about you?
Well, it's a pleasure to speak about Inter in the show, and I thank you for calling me on the show. I would say I think Inter can always be summed up by one word, and that's Pazza Inter, which means crazy Inter. That's why we go through crazy times as Inter fans. Highs and lows, unbelievable lengths, I would say. So that sums Inter up. And on you guys, I think I've been quite actively replying to some of the things that you're doing on Twitter. So, I think keep that up going. I think the World Cup 98 flashback, I think I really enjoyed that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I really love all these throwbacks stuff, going back, looking in the past. And I'm actually writing a blog now. I chronicle my series of tournaments as an Italian fan.
Okay, all right. Where can people find you? Is there a link you can share with us?
Yeah, it's at RAS Football World. So that's just one word, RAS Football World. So that's the name of my blog.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm on the series of Manchester United, and after Manchester United will be Inter. So that's what I'm doing right now in this COVID-19 times while waiting for things to get back to normal. And yes, I would love to come back to your show. I think that we found some synergy to speak about in future episodes. And when you do a Baggio one, do call me.
Okay, all right, you got it. When we talk about Roberto Baggio, you're on the show, Russ. Don't worry.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys. All right, Elwin, Bala. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank Andre and Russ for coming on board. Really appreciate you guys allocating your time for this. We appreciate it a lot. We appreciate the support that you guys are giving to us. And yeah, thank you for all the content and all your insights that what we discussed today. Fantastic, guys. So thanks a lot, man.
Welcome.
It's
Yeah,
my
me
pleasure.
too. Thanks, Ras, and also Andre for supporting us, basically briefing us. In fact, also spending time, valuable time, coming and listening, and also what you say, like giving a beautiful insight of Inter Milan, the sports we love, with the football. Please do support us, and we also try to do as much as possible to in support for your team and also for your venture in this footballing world. Thank you so much once again, guys.
Okay.
All right, welcome.
All right. That is a wrap, and thank you so much.
So there you have it, guys. This brings us to the end of our second part of the Inter Milan series with our two guests, Andre and Russ. And we really hope you enjoyed it. And thanks again for all your support. And looking forward to making more new episodes for you guys. So till then, guys, thank you again, and majulah bola-bola untuk negara.